Hey, this is Joe Gatto, and you're listening to Shootin' Shit.
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Johners Podcasting Network proudly presents, on most days, the best two men in podcasting history, the tag team that is the 5-star wrestling trivia maniac, DDJ, the hot one, Giovanni Tuhati, and we are shooting shit. And you are listening to episode number 49. Thank you for joining us. Two-man show today. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This is episode number 49 of Shootin' Shit. A little bit of shit for your week here. It's me and DDJ. DDJ, how are you doing tonight?
Good, man. Good, man. And kind of let's get the viewers and shooters out there a little peek behind the curtain. You all know these outside this show, we all, are fathers, and sometimes the responsibilities of being a father, takes us away from the show. And in this case, such as Joey K, his little one's a bit under the weather. So, little man, we hope you get better, man. And Joey K, keep on playing super dad right there.
Oh yeah, man. It's like, Heath Slater, we got kids.
Yes, we do.
And like you said,
Oh, above ground pool for me though.
No. Well, shoot. Joey Kid's got a few over there, and he's taking care of the little one, the youngest, so hopefully he gets to feeling better, man. And we have Joey K here with us next week after he's gotten the little man settled up. So,
Dave, before we get into it, do we want to tell him about what's going on next week, or do we want to wait till the end?
What's going on next week?
I know us chatting, in our group chat and, Facebook and stuff like that. I stumbled across the fact that we recently hit a milestone with this show.
5 people listened.
Well, to those 5 people that listened, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But no, we just surpassed the 1 year anniversary of our first time doing this show together, and next week, we're going to have our official anniversary episode of Shootin' Shit, and it's going to be our 50th episode. So how convenient.
How apropos, the 50th week is our year anniversary. I like the way we do that.
It's kind of funny how the way things work out sometimes.
Couldn't have planned it better.
Nope, better. Couldn't have backed into it any better, more like it.
That's right. So next week, mega episode. We may even give ourselves the permission to go over an hour. We may be 100% bullshit, no wrestling. We don't know. Stay tuned and find out, though.
Yes, stay tuned. A classic John Ritter movie, by the way.
That's right. So, what do we got on tap for this week?
Man, there's actually a lot of stuff that's been going on and that. So, and it's more or less stuff that's mainly outside the ring. Where do you want to start? I mean, there's so much to go for.
You know what? Last week we gave a lot to the WWE. This week I think it's going to be fairly AEW heavy. Let's jump into AEW.
Do we just want to go straight into it?
Let's go straight into it, man.
So it's the wrestling business is so just interesting, and it's just so unpredictable because what you see on TV, there's always more to what's going on and stuff. And with the news that come out after Dynamite, apparently all is not well in the AEW locker room.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, you start to hear things of small things. There was things even back when Cody was there, you could kind of hear about people either not liking Cody or there's some cracks in AEW that no one's wanting to talk about because they're a new company. It kind of feels like maybe the honeymoon phase, if you would, for the company is kind of finishing out with all of these backstage rumblings of what's going on. And I mean, the biggest one, and we might as well hit the biggest one, the elephant in the room first. CM Punk kind of going into business for himself on that promo, but it seems like he might be malcontent, which is a CM Punk move. Well, where are we standing on this, man?
I don't want to sit there and take a stance on this because I feel like that there's still more to this story that hasn't been put out there. And we're only getting secondhand accounts from, I'm not going to even glorify any of these specific people or groups, but I'm just going to say the dirt sheet writers who have a tendency to just, I think, really ruin things for the rest, the wrestling fan out there, because a lot of times we want to be surprised, but they feel like they have to, to deliver the news, and maybe so and stuff. But I don't want to specifically name or call anybody out and all that, because this is just a lot of this is dirt sheet writer stuff. I mean, I'm not in the locker room. You're not in the locker room. Joey K is not in the locker room. Our guys at Such Good Shoot, they're not in the locker room, and it's just, so we don't really know. We're only basing our opinions on what's being reported. And like I said, I still feel like that there's more to this story than what we're being made aware of. Now, obviously, if this could be a case of history repeating itself, because I mean, this is essentially.
Slow down.
Okay.
For those of you who aren't up on the dirt sheets and don't know where we're hitting at, guys, because DDJ said, we're not there, we're not in the locker room. The dirt sheets are claiming that, Punk's issues right now are kind of stemming from some backstage heat he has with management. Apparently, he felt slighted during one of Hangman Page's promos during their little feud that they had. Could have been an ill shot at him and Colt Cabana situation. There was also news that, the heat there kind of caused Colt Cabana not to get re-signed by AEW, but he's such a locker room presence that the locker room pretty much went to bat for him, and Tony Khan signed him to ROH. So that's kind of the stem of where we're hearing CM Punk is unhappy and CM Punk is going into business for himself. With some of those shoot promos he did this past Wednesday. So now we're caught up. DDJ, go ahead.
Yeah, and just like I said, that we're just going by what's being reported. Like I said, nobody's, and you know what? We're more than likely with a lot of this stuff, we're not going to get the truth. We're going to get he said. We're going to get we're going to get he said. We're going to get he said. We're going to get some version, but we're not going to get the actual true story. It's the only ones that are that probably know the true story are those involved in the situation, and they sure as hell ain't gonna tell anybody. But I mean, it's a shame because we're also coming on 1 year of the 1 year anniversary of CM Punk's return to pro wrestling AEW, and it just kind of seems like a lot of the bandwagon fans are already jumping on this is history repeating itself, or CM Punk blah blah blah. I mean, I even saw a video out there of someone burning a CM Punk shirt, and it's just like, first off, anybody that burns a t-shirt just because someone does something, or like the jersey burning of when LeBron went to Miami or whatever, that's just stupid in my opinion.
No, I'm there with you.
Yeah, you spent that money. I mean, I guess you spent your money, your hard-earned or whatever, however you got your money on your stuff. You have the right to do with it what you want. But if you're going to sit there and spend $35 on a t-shirt, and then just because something's being reported and you don't know the truth, you're going to sit there and burn it. Yeah, you're a dumbass in my book.
Oh yeah, big time. And I mean, it's like you said, your money, do what you want, but that's just stupid. I'm mad. So something I've already paid for, meaning I've already contributed, I'm going to burn. Get out of here. But this kind of just points to a bigger issue, man. Something that we've talked about on this show quite a lot. And it's not, and just to give it to your point here, I don't think it's just some of these bandwagon fans, man. I think this is just fans. This is the IWC, which we all know is super toxic. They're waiting for something. They're bated breath at everything, man.
Yeah. And this is kind of the one thing, and I see some people out there, you know, that are kind of whose sentiments I echo, you know, and I love being a professional wrestling fan, but a lot of times when I see stuff like this, it's kind of embarrassing to be a wrestling fan. Because, you know, as big a wrestling fans as you and I are, you know, we don't sit there and we don't bash the product. We don't criticize, like, and again, it's your right to do whatever. But I mean, it's just, I've never understood why people feel the need to bash, critique, you know, just continuously. Like, do they lead that pathetic, that sad of a life? Do they feel mighty when they're sitting there on their, you know, as Bully Ray would call it, Twitter machines, or, you know, their laptops, you know, doing a version of the stroke? Yeah, not that stroke, but they might do that later. Who knows? You know, a la Randy Marsh. But I mean, it's seriously, to me, as much as I love pro wrestling, professional wrestling has the most toxic fan base out there. And, you know, and I don't remember who said this, and I just recently, maybe you might be able to, you know, kind of help me out in this, but there was somebody out there who was pretty, I can't remember if it's a wrestler, that basically said that wrestling fans are kind of the worst fans because they can wait to criticize. And it's true, because wrestling fans criticize the wrestling product more than I think any other fan base in any other, like, professional sports league, like musician group, basically anything. The only people that I think that are about as tough, and again, and I feel bad because I know some people that don't fall into this, and I'm actually part of this as well too. The only other people who I think come close in terms of how toxic they can be towards something that they claim that they love are Star Wars fans. Am I wrong?
The Last Jedi is not canon kills me. I mean, oof, these Star Wars fans are crazy.
Okay, so a little bit of Star Wars talk here. The Last Jedi, not a very good Star Wars movie. I will admit, I did not. It's out of all 9 of the official Star Wars movies. Well, I guess you can throw in, you know, Solo and
Rogue One
and stuff. The Last Jedi was probably my least favorite out of all of the Star Wars movies. I will say that, but you know, I'm not going to sit there and devote, you know, 24 hours of my life, 7 days, 365 days a year, is sitting there like that guy, the fat guy in South Park that was playing World of Warcraft, you know, be killing everybody. You know the guy I'm talking about, and sitting there or the comic book guy from The Simpsons. You know,
stinks.
No, that's Jay Sherman.
Jay Sherman, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be Jay Sherman. I'm not going to be the comic book guy from The Simpsons. I'm not going to be the guy from the South Park episode that sits there and spends my entire day sitting there tweeting about how Star Wars, you know, The Last Jedi is not canon. I got better things to do with my life than that. But bringing it back to wrestling here, because this is what we are. We're a wrestling show.
To get to that real quick before we get to the nuts and bolts back to where we were at, the quote you're thinking of, I think, could go either way. It could have been either MVP with his tweet with the worst fans in the world are wrestling fans, or the people who hate wrestling fans the worst are wrestling fans.
No, it's the people that hate wrestling
the most are wrestling fans.
That's the quote. Was that MVP that said that?
That was MVP.
He's dead on with that.
And I don't get it, man, because we're fans, we're marks. I mean, we buy the merch. We've been to more shows than I can freaking count. We're gonna be at All Out.
We're going to GCW. I'm gonna be at Rampage.
GCW.
GCW.
I mean, we buy. Look, I got a Cody right here with me.
I got a Jay White. Your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Well, you're soon to be WWE Heavyweight Champion. Dum dum dum. It's gonna happen. And that's the red version too, because everybody got mad and marked out and left them on the shelves. I got like 4 of these bitches. But that's the thing. Like, why is wrestling the fan base where it's cool to shit on it? I think it stems from not wanting to admit that you're a wrestling fan, so you shit on the product. But you're watching the product. You're talking about the people that are like you.
And we're way past the days where it was taboo to be a wrestling fan. Like it's common now. Like I can't tell you how many times I've gone to like Walmart to get something, and someone will be like, hey, yeah, the Too Sweet, or see like an AEW shirt or something, or. Like I'll be out with I'll go out with my wife, and somebody will comment on my shirt, and then I'll look at my wife, and she'll roll her eyes, and stuff.
And that's the thing. Like at my job, I have a couple of small little Funko Pops that I opened up because of broken boxes. I got a Cody and Bucks opened up, and people come by and they're like, "Oh, what are those?" I'm like, "Oh, they're wrestlers for AEW." "Oh, okay, yeah, it looks just like them." And they'll go into what wrestling they liked. I found out that this dude that is on 2 teams that sit like on the other side of me. He was into wrestling back in the 90s, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I like wrestling back with DX and all them." And people, it's not like you have to hide your wrestling fandom, guys, to where we cut it down, even though we watch the product. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and you and I and Joey K always talk about how wrestling brought us together. Wrestling probably. Professional wrestling is responsible for most of the friendships. I shouldn't say probably. It is responsible for most of the friendships that I have out there. You, Joey K, our guys that such good shoot. Brad from a toilet side. Our buddies Jordan and AJ and Ty, and guys that we're going to be seeing at in a couple weeks at GCW and AEW and stuff like that. My friend Brandon, my friend Charlie, you got, the Grill Master Stu and all that and stuff, I mean, it's just, it's given so much to us, but yeah, it's just, why do people, I don't get it.
I don't either, man. It's just, it's weird. It's one of those where it's okay to say you're watching wrestling. Obviously, people are watching. Raw still gets 2 point something million. SmackDown gets 1 point something million. AEW brings in almost a million. Yeah, so there's people watching, and that's all US people for AEW. That they don't count international.
And they don't count people who watch it, who save it to their DVR, or, watch it like on the TNT app, or, people that watch, Raw and SmackDown on Hulu. And
and these shows are always trending on Twitter when they're live. So somebody out there is watching.
Well, yeah, I mean, you talk about trending. I mean, last night throughout the show, SmackDown was trending number 1 in the U.S. and with good reason, because SmackDown was really good again and stuff. But kind of going back to let's kind of get back on there, get back on the track here, and stuff. It's just the stuff with Punk is I'm not going to sit there and pass judgment on anyone until I've heard more. I mean, it's disheartening because AEW is offering such a great alternative to the WWE. And, it's just, I hope that whatever these issues are, they can be worked out to a point where, you don't have to like each other, but you still can go out there and do business together, because in the end, when, if it's Punk and Mox and they don't like each other, but they're men enough, they're mature enough to go out there and do business, who wins?
Everybody.
Everybody wins, and that's in the end game. That's what I think that's what I want as a wrestling fan. I want everybody to win.
And you know what's funny? You're saying that, man, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm in corporate America. I work an office job. I work with people I may not like some days. There might be some people that I'm
You have
like,
my red
oh,
stapler.
yeah, no, I don't have your red stapler. But it's one of those things that you have to work with people that you don't like at times. It doesn't matter. And I think
We've all done it.
We've all done it. And you know, wrestling shouldn't be any different. And I think that's one of the weird things about the sport is you hear things about people not liking each other, people getting blacklisted. I know that was something that was said about some wrestlers that if they didn't like you, you got blacklisted from a promotion, you got blacklisted from a certain place or things of that nature. And it's a little weird. I mean, in a place where any normal job, you have to be grown-ups and you have to put on that smile, you have to work with people. Same thing should apply here.
Absolutely. And that, you know, I mean, it's all apart because in the end, you know, we all have a job to do. You know, Punk has a job to do. You know, Mox has a job to do. Jericho has a job to do. Jovan has a job to do. Once I get medically cleared, I'll have a job to do. You know, and stuff.
Once I get medically cleared,
You like that, huh?
I do.
But the point is, you know, we all have jobs to do. But you know, regardless, and if we have people around us that we don't like, well, we just got to put our big boy pants on and keep on going because in the end, we all have a job to do.
Talking about a job to do, apparently there's going to be a job to do next week because we're getting a champion next week, unless we don't. But the match is made. CM Punk and Moxley for the unification of the title, the AEW Championship, which in my opinion, one of the most beautiful belts out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening on Dynamite and not All Out in the next few weeks?
I feel like the only thing there's two things that are going to come out of this, and if we get the one, it's going to lead to a rematch. But there's going to be a lot of pissed off people, and I think they're in Cleveland. I feel like there's something like Tony Khan must have something bigger planned because throughout this whole thing, you know, especially once he showed up, everybody's assuming, okay, we're getting Mox versus Punk to unify the titles at All Out, which in itself is a match worthy of headlining a major AEW pay-per-view because you have
should be the main.
Huh?
It should be the main, yeah.
Oh yeah, and it would have been if if this was going on, if this was going on at at the pay-per-view, this would have been the main event. But I mean, it's like we're getting, I feel like that there's just so much more to this and stuff. And because you don't sit there and give away a pay-per-view match for free if you don't have, you better have something big up your sleeves because I think the people in Cleveland aren't going to accept some bullshit non-finish where there's like a double count out or a double disqualification or the match doesn't start, and then they get it on the pay-per-view. Now,
yeah, is it Cleveland Moxley's area?
No, he's Cincinnati.
Yeah, same place. It's all Ohio.
Yeah, well, but anyways, right now, they're both Cleveland and Cincinnati are better than my Bears. So Cincinnati's pretty damn good. I mean, they did go to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, that was a surprising team, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Burrow, Magic, and Jamar Chase, man. That's how you turn around a franchise.
Yep. And that's so, but I mean, I feel like that again. There's got to be something bigger. They've got to have someone in the mix and stuff. And I just like you say, you don't put this match on unless you have something bigger planned. And I have my theory onto what I think this bigger plan and who this involves. But before I go into that, Jovan, what is your take on this match happening?
To me, it makes no sense. We're talking about it happening this week. which is literally less than, is it around 2 weeks from All Out? So after next week, it's a week.
All out as of when this episode will most likely drop, it'll be 2 weeks. 2 weeks from the day this episode drops, which would be Sunday.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean that's the match.
So we're
is
basically
Wednesday.
a week and a half out of week and a half away from All Out when Dynamite hits the air on Wednesday night.
So we're talking 10 days maybe.
Yep.
To All Out from the time that they're having this match. Why are we rushing the match? To me, it makes no sense. It makes little booking sense. Unless once again, I don't want to hit back at it, but maybe there is a malcontent and you're trying to get your belt off of the malcontent before the malcontent leaves. They have to do the one last job, a la Bret Hart and the screw job. But to me, it doesn't make sense to have this when you're so close to a pay-per-view. You need to sell this pay-per-view, and so far what you've given me, I mean, I'm going either way. But I'm not necessarily excited.
Better. I mean, I went through the trouble to make sure you got your tickets. You best be there.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, if I wasn't going, I don't necessarily think that what they've put out there so far is going to make me say, oh, I need to go. Nothing's announced. And that was your marquee. So what are we doing? Do you not want to sell the pay-per-view?
And see, at this point in time, the fan base, I don't think, is going to accept Punk versus Mox at All Out at this point. Like, there has to be something different. And you can't just go in and put, like, there's really not many, if anybody, that really you can put out there, like, at this point in time, this close to the pay-per-view, that, like, you know, are going to get people buzzing to the point where it's going to help the buy rates. There's one person. There is one, and I think you and I are pretty much I think we're on the same wavelength here.
Yep.
And if we don't, I'm going to be very shocked and upset. But I mean, there's only one person at this point in time that you can put out there to go up against whoever comes out of this match as the champion, that's going to get the fan base talking. It's going to get people, you know, trying to, you know, last minute scrounge up the money to go get the tickets to, you know, head out to the Now Arena, or to go, you know, to their, you know, Bleacher Report or pay-per-view provider, if, you know, they're showing it in the movie theaters. And to me, the one person that's out there that can get kind of, I guess, basically, for lack of a better term, save this pay-per-view is one MJF.
My Jewish friend.
I mean, at this, because I mean, he hasn't been heard from since he cut that pipe bomb promo. What was that? The Dynamite after Double or Nothing?
After Double or Nothing, yeah. When he lost to Wardlow. No mentions of him. You know, he was told to be pulled from all advertising. You know, obviously people are speculating. You know, he's sitting at home or whatever. I, from the start, have said that it's a work, and I think that we're going to see that come to fruition. If CM Punk wins against Moxley, it has to be MJF.
I think if Mox wins against CM Punk, it has to be MJF. I think or something like MJF has to be factored into this equation in some way, regardless of who wins, because again, the fan base, I don't think. I mean, I'm not going to say they won't, because, you know, there are a lot of things. You know, the fan base can be very surprising at times, but I don't think the fan base is going to accept, you know, Punk versus Mox for the second time in less than 2 weeks as the main event of a pay-per-view when they just saw it on free TV.
Yeah, and there's no big name out there that's pending. No, well, there's one, but I don't think he'll move the needle as much as an MJF will.
Who's that?
Johnny Gargano.
We love Johnny Gargano, but no, he's not moving the needle.
The show loves Johnny Gargano. We're shooting poop to him.
Yeah, we're shooting poop to him, and I think it's pretty much a given at this point. If he shows up anywhere than a WWE show, I would be shocked.
Yeah, he's probably set in for Triple H's WWE, but even he, I don't think moves the needle as much as an MJF would, just because of everything that's going on.
Right.
Quite frankly, I don't see anybody else on the roster that can move the needle right now like MJF would, just due to the heat that's there.
The only one that I think, like, and this just kind of came to my mind, and this is just kind of region out there. Right now, I think the only other person I think the fan base would accept into this situation or whatever, and even then, at this point in time, I think it'd be kind of confusing to them. But I think he's so over with the crowd that I think they would get over it. The only one I could think of would be Eddie Kingston.
Oh, I love Eddie Kingston.
Oh, I do too. I think he's, he's a phenomenal promo. I've gone out and said I think he's this generation's Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, I love it
and stuff, But I mean. He's someone that the fans have been calling for, put the strap on him and stuff. So he's really the only. But then again, like I said, we talk about moving the needle. Eddie Kingston does not come anywhere close to moving the needle like MJF does.
MJF right now, that would be mega heat. Even if he's doing this, because Punk seemingly turned heel on Dynamite. And normally the heel versus heel magic doesn't really work that well when it comes to championships. But when Punk went against Mox the first time, he kind of did that save us from Mox bit, and I could see him within a week, because he would only have maybe one shot at a good promo to put himself over PG Punk. And I think he could do it. I think he's got,
Dude,
the
remember
ability.
Remember the promo he cut when he talked about, like, growing up as a Jewish kid and being like he had people going, like, each busted open. They were talking about, was that real? I mean, he had everybody going with it.
The psychology of that, though, and just to get real quick, because I was talking to a friend of mine. And I told a friend of mine, I said, look, the psychology in that promo was greatness, because you're telling this guy, I looked up to you, I idolized you, and you left me. It's classic narcissist of, you're the reason why I'm like I am. And it's just another freaking level worth of promo work that this man does.
Well, you think about it too, because when he cut that promo, he was walking, like, Punk came out and said, are you serious or whatever? Like, and
isn't any of that true?
Yeah, and one thing AEW has really excelled at, and I think WWE's starting to find now with Triple H kind of running creative, they're getting better at, is they're good at connecting the dots and and tying things together, because they can easily go back to that. They'll easily be able to reference that part of the promo.
Yeah,
and stuff. So obviously we also got another return this week on Dynamite of one, and I admit I was wrong. I honestly didn't think it was going to be this guy, but you know what? It was good to see him in the ring. Welcome back, Kenny Omega. And that's so.
Kenny Omega question. Is he not 100%? Was it ring rust, or is it a work on his working style right now?
I think it's a little combination of all three. Because, it was known out there that he was pretty well beat up after, even going into that match with Hangman. And, when he took the time off, that they said he was going to be out a while. I think it's a little, I don't think he's fully 100%, but I think he's close. Okay. I think it's obviously the ring rust, because, it's been what? That
277 days.
Yeah. So you're talking basically 8, almost 9 months. About approximately 9 months since he's been out of the ring. But also, too, Kenny Omega can tell a story, and he can, and stuff. So I think it's a little combination of all three.
That's where, I'm a Kenny Omega fan. I'm a mark. And watching the match, I had to ask myself, am I getting worked by Omega? Because there was obvious moves that he's hit his whole life that were missed. There were spots that looked sloppy. I said, okay, is this ring rust? Is this him not being at 110%? Or is this him telling a story of him not being to where he needs to be? Because if you remember the belt collector story, everybody was saying on how he was doing this with hurt knees, with vertigo, and he was having some of the best matches of his career during that line. So a part of me wants to say that maybe he's not 100%, and the other part's like, but he knows how to tell that story in the ring, so he might just be yoking it up for that reaction.
I think it's a combination of all three of the different factors that you alluded to.
All right. So, of course, they put on a hell of a match with Roosh, Dragon Lee, and Andrade. But the Bucks and Kenny Omega move on.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they'll probably get the Commonwealth King and the Aussie Boys next.
Oh, that's going to be a banger.
And there's so much storyline there with the Omega and Ospreay beef.
Yep.
I honestly wouldn't mind seeing both of these teams lose so we can just get Omega and Ospreay. But
we'll get that. I mean,
it'll happen eventually.
It'll happen. I mean, and honestly, it's out there that Ospreay lost to Okada in the G1 final, and from what I heard, was a great match.
What a match! The ending was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. So maybe because it sounds like obviously it was also announced that Wrestle Kingdom's it's going back to one night. But I mean, we've heard in the past rumors that there might be some AEW involvement. So I mean, honestly, we could get that. I mean, this could eventually lead to getting maybe Omega and Ospreay or Wrestle Kingdom. I mean, what better way for Kenny Omega to return to Japan than at their biggest show of the year?
That would kill. Omega walks on water in Japan, and him and Ospreay would put on hell of a show for everybody. One small thing going back to the G1, which shout out, congrats to Tama Tonga, the good bad guy. Hell of a showing in the G1 this year. Yes. Made it to the semis. I don't like the finish. I like the match. I like the finish. I don't like the result of the G1 finals. It's not that I have any issue with Okada winning, because I'm an Okada fan. Okada is the man. He's been the man for the past few years in New Japan. He is the bar. It's what it is. He's the legend. He's a living legend. He's the bar. But certain things to me are sacred in wrestling when it comes to records. The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak shouldn't have never been broken, in my opinion. He should have retired with that thing intact.
Bruno Sammartino's record reign.
Bruno Sammartino's record reign should never be touched, even close.
It won't.
I'll go as much to even say 16 times with the Nature Boy Ric Flair should never be broken.
Well, Cena's tied.
Yeah, fucking Cena. He's not coming back for another run, though. But Okada with the G1 win ties Masahiro Chono for the most G1 wins. We could have let Chono keep the 4 wins to himself. I mean, that's one of the pillars, the all-time greats. I don't feel like Okada needed it.
Chono's a badass.
Yeah, so I just feel like Chono should have kept that record, man.
But I mean, it's just kind of going back to everything with AEW with this tournament. I mean, we got a really good match on Rampage with Best Friends versus the Trustbusters and stuff, and one thing I want to talk about the Trustbusters.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. You saw these things that somebody pointed out, and I think Tony Khan replied about the Trustbusters. It was something to do with how it's almost like the Trustbusters thing is like Tony Khan parodying himself because of the talent or whatever. I forgot how it was compared, but he talked about how Parker Boudreaux was like the ex-WWE guys at the fanboys or the whatever the WWE stands or whatever sit there and say, oh, they're always hiring
ex-WWE guys.
Yeah.
That Slim J was the indie darling.
Yep.
And
Ari Daivari.
Ari Daivari, yeah, and then Sonny Kiss was the AEW homegrown.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. And then I think Tony Khan even replied Like he was almost impressed by someone's assessment of that, because it was actually a pretty good assessment if that's the case.
Yeah, if it was meaningfully done. But that's my thing with this group, and I'm probably not the only one not to get it, but I don't like the group. I don't like the Trust Busters. Maybe it'll grow on me, but Arya Davari comes out, has got money to spend, a la Grimes, a la $1 Million Man, a la anybody else that's used this tired trope in wrestling of I have money so I could buy henchmen. Parker Boudreaux, fantastic. That looks like a henchman. He looks like somebody you would buy if you're buying muscle. Slim
I know he'd
J,
be someone I'd want watching my back.
yeah, me too. Slim J, not so much. I feel like we could have gotten someone else to really play off of Boudreaux. Maybe somebody a little more tenured, a vet to help out the rookie. Sonny Kiss as the mouthpiece / manager / whatever Sonny's going to be doing. I love, because I love Sonny. Sonny needs more TV time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, 1 out of 3 pieces don't work for me, so the whole thing's kind of black. And with that, I'm going to make a Hit Row reference. Hit Row rapping for me is kind of black also.
Yeah, hopefully, and yeah, definitely the crowd did not like that. I think they pretty much shit all over it and stuff. So let's just hope that that's, Triple H is kind of like seeing that. It's like, okay, that didn't work, because it's like they got the exact opposite reaction they got from last week. Like last week, everybody's like, yes.
Leave it to the Acclaimed.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the Acclaimed, Scissor Me Daddy Ass is back.
Oh, loved it. Scissor Me.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I got a
other side.
But no, it's just a lot going on and stuff. But
we're gonna rapid fire real quick on AEW before we move on.
All right, but rapid fire away.
Rapid fire on AEW in case you guys missed it. They did announce for AEW's All Out, we're getting a Casino Ladder Royale match again. They haven't described what it's going to be, who it's going to be, nothing like that.
Well, the Casino Ladder match, they've done one before. It's basically a ladder match meets a Royal Rumble where it's like 2 guys start. I think it's like every 90 seconds. Basically,
but
you try
that's
to
assuming it's going to be guys.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be. I feel this is going to be the proverbial let's get as many people on the show as we can, Matt.
Now I'm pushing for it to be a women's match.
But see, and the thing is it's interesting because it's like a ladder match. Like 2 guys start out, and like theoretically, one of them could grab the whatever the contract or whatever they'll hang above the ring, and the match could be over before even the next person comes out. Obviously, it's not going to be the case because everybody that's going to be in the match is going to get featured. And I'm just ballpark. Like I said, I don't even know if he's going to be announced because I don't think they've announced anything for him. Dear God, please let Ricky Starks win this match.
I like Ricky.
Ricky is awesome.
Moving forward, we also have Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm for the women's championship, of course.
Yep.
What else has been announced for the show?
FTR and Wardlow against Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt.
I have such big feelings on this, and none of them are good, so we'll wait for next week so I can hear Joey K team on it with me.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of stuff that's being teased. I think a while back Eddie Kingston challenged Sammy Guevara to a match.
Don't tease me, DDJ.
We might obviously the way that that 2 out of 3 falls match, which was just outstanding. It looks like we might maybe get Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho at All Out, and the whole which side, whose side is Daniel Garcia on. I mean, I think we've been like calling for him to be a part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Since it started.
Since it started and stuff. And I mean, maybe this is how he gets in. We shall see.
All right. So, we ready to shift gears off of AEW?
Yeah, let's shift gears here. So,
all right.
Yeah. Fire away. What do we got, Hot One?
So, Going into a little bit of off the wall talk, I'm going to take it to the indies for a moment because it's only going to take a minute or two. Indie talk. We have a little bit of GCW news. You know, DDJ and I will be at GCW Art of Warfare number 2.
Art of War Games.
Art of War Games, excuse me, number 2 in Chicago. And the main match there, man, so far announced is gonna be a banger with the, you know, dim boys going against every decent tag team in GCW. It seems like in a massive
five
cage.
tag teams inside the double cage. It's gonna be in GCW. It's gonna be insane.
It's gonna be nuts, but it's not the only GCW news we have. And if you see us at GCW Beer Us, it's only like a $3 beer. You could take that. There's been a new challenge for the GCW heavyweight champion John Moxley, who did defeat Effie in his last match. Mr. MDK all fucking day, Nick Gage, challenged John Moxley for the heavyweight championship of GCW once again. This time it gets a little spicy. Mox said, yeah, but career for title. If I beat you, you're done. If you win, you take this title. We haven't got a date to when it's going to be done. Hopefully it's done in Chicago so we can see it.
Hopefully it's night one because I think they're doing 2 shows. Hopefully it's the night that we go.
Yeah, they have the whole weekend. They have the Art of War Games or whatever the hell it's called. They have the one that they're doing with Black Label Pro. They also have Big Gay Brunch. They'll be doing another one. It's their whole Second City Summit.
Yeah.
So they have like 3 or 4 nights going there. So hopefully it's the night we're there. If not, I might have to think about doing the other night. So that's coming up soon, you guys. And I know we're excited to see the GCW show.
Yep.
So shifting gears from GCW to CCW, which is one that
CCW, man, I ain't heard those 3 letters in quite a while.
We have not heard those letters in quite a while. It's because they're making a don't call it a comeback. Looks like CZW will be holding another deathmatch tournament in Delaware. It's going to be on October 29th, 2022 in Delaware. If you're a CCW fan, if you're a deathmatch fan, this might be one to go to. Definitely am excited about that. I will have to find a way to watch because Delaware is quite up there. I've never been, so I probably won't go. But would love to see CZW have a thriving return because, I mean, it gave us guys like John Moxley, Nick Gage, and all these other ultra-violent dudes that are just amazing.
Yeah, let's, be kind of anxious to see, what comes of this, and I mean, obviously, if this means more people find work, I'm all for it.
Hell yeah. So, switching gears now from the indies to just general last thoughts, man. What else do we have to cover today that we haven't hit?
We got to talk some WWE stuff because there's a few things that are going on. I mean, we've, got a match announced for Clash at the Castle that I think is going to possibly be a show stealer. That being the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther going up against Sheamus. I mean, these two are literally just going to beat the snot out of each other.
Yeah, that's going to be a whose chest could take it the most match.
And big props to Triple H and the team for doing in such a short time, raising just the prestige level of both the the Intercontinental and the United States titles to a level that they really haven't been in terms of like how just important they felt, in such a short time. And
they don't feel like throwaways anymore.
No, and it's really good because considering, Roman's got, both major titles and he's on, he's basically kind of doing the Brock Lesnar schedule now. So it's nice that they're making, these secondary titles feel like primary titles.
You know what? Out of necessity, man. And I think that's a great thing. Just like you said, Roman's got both of your tops. So what do? You have to make your mid your top because the top guy isn't a top guy right now. He's doing
something's always got to be on top because if you have something in the middle and the top's removed, what's in the middle becomes the top.
Love it. Greatness.
I know.
No way that Sheamus wins that, right?
No, I mean, right now, Gunther is the perfect person to be holding that Intercontinental Championship, and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be just two guys beating just the snot out of each other. But yeah, just to me, you don't take the title off Gunther right now.
So, talking about changes in WWE, I hear that there was a surprise NXT call up due to injuries.
Yeah, originally for this this WWE Women's Tag Team Title tournament that's been going on, that's actually been pretty good. And stuff. We were supposed to have some NXT representation from and it was supposed to be represented by Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons. Sounds like Zoe Stark was injured in her match against Mandy Rose, and Nikita Lyons wasn't medically cleared, whatever that means. But hopefully Zoe Stark is injured, hopefully it's not another serious one, because she just came back from it was a torn ACL, and that kept her out for quite a while. So hopefully it's nothing as serious, because she's uber talented and is going to be on that main roster permanently very soon, as long as she can get herself back on track. But the team that replaced these two, honestly, I think should have been in this tournament from the get-go, because and stuff. So, and that's Gigi Dolan and JC Jane from Toxic Attraction, and they got I'd probably call it an upset over against Sonya Deville and Natalya on SmackDown, and they didn't look half bad doing it either.
And it's like you said, man, they're the former tag team champions in NXT. It only makes sense that they should get a shot at the big time.
Right.
Natalya and Deville, I mean, Natalya's got experience for days. Sonya Deville is no bum herself. So, yeah, it was a hell of a win. Kind of reminds me of Private Party going over the Bucks,
Yeah.
It's kind of feels like that kind of win that could propel you throughout this thing. So, hopefully they keep on going.
Yeah, it's gonna be, because with the teams you got left, you've got one side of the bracket where it's these new talent, these new talents that are still trying to get used to being on the main roster, with Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah going up against Toxic Attraction, and on the other end, you've got really two veterans of the WWE ring in Alexa Bliss and Asuka, and you got two. Now, while they're new to the main roster, they're definitely no slouches in the ring, because there were two, mainstays of the NXT women's division with Dakota Kai and Io Sky. I mean, it's the brackets, it's a tale of two different, levels. And so it's going to be kind of interesting to see where this goes. And, and I mean, if the rumors are out there that are true, I mean, where do the former champions, play into all this, if they even play into all this?
Yeah, it's interesting for sure, man. A lot of things WWE is doing right now to kind of keep us interested and keep us there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the buzz, the WWE really hasn't had a buzz this positive and this good in quite a while, and I mean, the product isn't perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but the product is better than what it has been. And it's definitely seems like it's trending upward. And I mean, there's definitely reason to be excited if you're a WWE fan, because I mean, WrestleMania, I guess they're saying WrestleMania sales are going extremely well for LA both nights. So that's good to hear.
90K in one day.
Yeah. Between both nights.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see, with all that and stuff. But I mean,
DDJ, I heard a rumor.
You heard a rumor.
That's right. I heard a rumor that WrestleMania 40 is going to be in the city of brotherly love.
I heard that too.
And I also heard a rumor that the SGS Collective may try to bring all of our crazy asses to Philly.
Oh, God. You think, yeah. Well, I guess if any town's equipped to handle the SGS Collective, it's Philadelphia.
We can't do anything worse to it that hasn't already been done. I mean, they greased the light poles there during riots, for God's sakes.
Don't they throw like ice covered snowballs at the at the
At
football game.
Santa Claus.
Yep.
The Eagles fans did that to Santa Claus.
I hope they all got coal in their stockings for that.
Exactly. So yeah, man. City of Brotherly Love, watch out. You might get the guys from Shooting Shit, SGS. Maybe we'll talk Brad into going. Who knows?
Hopefully, if if we do all get together, hopefully we don't tear down Joey K's house.
Oh, that's the plan. The plan is to burn his house down. He just doesn't
burn it down.
Oh shoot. Let's see.
Man, you know what though? I think the biggest news out of WWE doesn't even have to do anything with the main roster. I mean, I think what just recently got announced, it's intriguing. We got
Elias is in the hospital.
Oh yeah, surrounded by his family. Beautiful picture. Such a beautiful family.
I'm sorry.
Do you see that meme going around about the leaked list of the 2013 Royal Rumble? They got Kevin Owens at 1, and then like literally the entire Ezekiel Elias family.
If they could pull that off, have Elias come out, have Ezekiel come out, I'll be done.
Well, hell, they did it in '98 with Mick Foley coming out 3 times. I mean, I guess if anybody could do it, it could be Elias. We shall see.
Yeah.
But we saw a lot the last couple of weeks on NXT. If you've been watching, you've seen a lot of talents from across the Atlantic showing up on the product, and it kind of had you think, and it had me thinking. I think I talked to you about this or in our show chat and stuff. Like, okay, what is going on? I mean, the last couple of weeks we had, Tyler Bate, we had Blair Davenport, the former B. Priestley. We have, Gallus show up. We've had Pretty Deadly on. And it just seems like a lot of the NXT UK talents coming over this way. And it kind of had me thinking, what's going on with, what's going on with
NXT UK?
Yeah, NXT UK. And then like the next day or so, we got the news, first off, all the talents that from NXT UK that got released, best, wishes, and hopefully some of these talents find their way back. But and it sounds like NXT UK is going away, and they're doing the Worlds Collide pay-per-view. I believe it's the afternoon of all. Like it sounds like it's going to lead into All Out in terms of the time they're doing it and stuff.
Yep.
And that, so we're going to get NXT versus NXT UK. But it's NXT UK is going away, and it looks like NXT Europe is going to take its place.
Yeah, it's a hell of a move, a branding move, I guess, to get everything, not just England-based, because NXT UK is that Welsh/England-based wrestling fans.
Scotland, I mean, basically, it's
everything right there.
Yeah, everything in that area. Spain, but Portugal.
Make it more centralized. Call it NXT Europe.
Yep.
You're opening the doors to so many other talents. So I think it's going to be good in the long run.
Did you say you're opening?
That's right.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. But it gets that opportunity out there, and I honestly think it'll be a good show because NXT UK was putting on some amazing product.
Yeah, and I mean they were actually, and this is funny because I hadn't watched NXT UK in a while, and I watched not this past week's episode, but the week before, and it was the start of the UK title tournament because apparently Dragunov had to vacate the title due to an injury.
Yep. And
and they had the first 2 matches, and then when I saw at the end of Heat Wave after Braun Breaker, shout out to Braun Breaker, who is apparently an item now with Cora Jade. Good for you, Braun.
Golly, lucky bastard.
Is he on your list? We haven't done a list in a while.
You know what? He is on the list. That genetic freak. I bet he's a genetic freak like his uncle.
Oh man, Scott Steiner speaks so highly of him. I heard so much. He talked about Braun so much when I hung out with him that weekend. It was so nice to hear. But going back, I'm watching the end of that match, and all of a sudden I see Tyler Bate come out with the NXT UK title, and I'm like,
spoiler.
Okay. Yeah, spoiler alert. And stuff, but the NXT UK, if you can't, it's kind of hard to sometimes times to find time to watch, but if you can find some time to watch it, do it because it's pretty good. I mean, they've got some really good talent over there. I turned it on and I got to actually see William Regal's son, I believe, who goes by Charlie Dempsey, and stuff. Was over there. Like so some of the talent that we saw cross over. Gallus is, was a great act on there. Obviously Tyler Bate, JD McDonough, who is Jordan Devlin, and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good talent over there and stuff that I think a lot of people would benefit, from taking a few minutes just to watch a little bit of it.
I definitely agree. Give NXT UK a shine and give it some looks before Worlds Collide. And before we get the new relaunch of Europe, and I think Europe's going to bring a new relaunch of NXT 2.0, man. We might get NXT 3.0 black and gold. We'll see what happens.
I think the numbering thing, I don't know, but yeah, it's going to be I'm interested.
They're going to Matt Hardy it. It'll be NXT version 3.
There we go.
Yeah. Can I sneak in one small wrestling thing before we call it night?
Sneak away, my man. Sneak away.
Impact Wrestling. I love Impact Wrestling, and you guys know it. Impact Wrestling has just announced their first toy line in a very long time. They're going to have 4 figures come out next year in 2023. Any guesses on the 4 wrestlers that'll be in the first line of toys?
Let me see here. Josh Alexander?
No, surprisingly.
Moose?
Moose is one.
Javon's probably got 5 figures on pre-order. Moose figures on pre-order.
Damn right.
He's gonna line them up all around, and he's gonna do the things to those Moose figures that he and Joey K accused me of wanting to do to Matt Tate.
Oh, go. All right, so Moose is one. You've got 3 left.
Okay, we got Moose. Eddie Edwards.
Eddie Edwards is 2. Good one. Just to help you out, that is the only 2 men in the line so far.
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace is 3.
Let me see. Trying to think here. Tasha Steelz?
Not Tasha Steelz. Damn. I know.
Trying to think of someone who like female. Chelsea Green?
Not Chelsea Green.
Okay, I didn't think it was her as soon as I said it because she hasn't been there really long enough this last stint.
Holler out to the Chelsea Green. Love the hot mess.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. So it's great. I'm trying to think who else.
Surprised this one hasn't been named yet, man. I thought you would have got her quickly.
Mickey James?
Not Mickey James.
Wow. Trying to think here. It's probably gonna be one of those ones. If I don't guess it, and you tell me, I'm gonna.
You're gonna be very upset when you hear it. Yeah.
All right, tell me.
The Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo.
Damn it.
Yeah, so it looks like the figures will be available in 2023, being made for Impact via Cella Toys. So you can find them on Shop Impact soon. Once pre-orders go up, I am going to grab me all 4 because those are really, really cool.
You're gonna buy 5 Moose figures and do ungodly things to them, and Ty's gonna buy 3 of each of the
Deonna Purrazzo's.
Yeah, because we all know Ty loves the ladies.
The ladies love Ty, though. You look at all his damn mentions and stuff. They're always like liking his posts that he puts up there. I'm like, what in the hell? He's got this thing about him.
You do realize that he pays money to get these pictures, so they're smiling because they just got paid.
Look, paid or not, some of these, like, he gets retweets for some of these. Like, he was at a show with one of them, and he took a photo, was like, here, watching this person. The person liked it. I'm like, what the hell, Ty? Every time.
Oh, yeah, well, Ty didn't get a $120 tip from Scott Steiner, so.
I've never asked what you had to do to get that either. See how good of a friend I am?
I told you what I did.
And we'll leave it there for everyone to wonder what he did. Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode number 49 of Shooting Shit. Just a Mod Podge of wrestling this week. Thank you very much for listening. We were Joey Kalis. Hopefully he'll be back next week if the youngin is
Get
feeling
well, little
better.
man.
Thanks again to Joey K, DDJ, the Johners Podcasting Network, the ladies out there in payroll, the guys in catering, and last but not least, y'all for listening. Have a good night.
Oh, and don't forget, next week's our big anniversary show.
Big show, big show.
Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow the show on Twitter at SHOOTINSHT, and thanks for listening.